Welcome to my channel, or welcome back. My name is Tay, and today the topic that we're going to be talking about is forgiveness and autonomy. So girl, let's chat. Hello. Hello y'all. The topic that we're going to be talking about today is forgiveness and autonomy. Something that that can be a bit challenging for all of us, especially just with forgiveness and autonomy, because I know for me, I've been a people pleaser. So now I'm in a space of creating my own autonomy. And I know forgiveness can be a challenge because letting go, it's a hard process sometimes. With forgiving people, forgiving yourself, letting go of hurt allows you to be free of connections of emotional traps with others, allows you to be free in your own bubble of emotional intelligence and not allowing others to interfere with that. And I want to say too, forgiveness is something that I'm currently working on now, just due to dynamics that, for example, I'll just say like for family. I know family is a dynamic that's something that I want to keep. So I have to actively work on forgiving myself and forgiving others. You start with forgiving yourself first is because you allowed someone to take your autonomy. And then just to give a definition what autonomy is oh, let me get my phone so I can look up the definition for us. It says autonomy, it says the right or capacity of an individual, organization, or region to govern itself and make independent decisions without external control. Meaning, I'm making decisions based on what I want, not how others want me to make decision or affect the decision that I want for myself. And then that goes along with letting go of people pleasing, because when you are people pleasing, you are putting your needs and wants at the back burner of someone else's. And that's not the best way to live, because you are kind of at the same time disrespecting yourself. So with the lack of self-love that you have, and that's why you have to be a bit selfish when it comes to you, because others are not going to think about you how you think about you for your needs and what's good for your soul and your mental state, right? And also too, with forgiveness, you have to keep in mind that you're not perfect as well. So the same grace that God gives you when you do things that are not good to others, like I'm not gonna sit here and say that I'm just perfect Patty. No, I've done some nasty things to people. So, and when you put it in a perspective of, if God can forgive you, you have to show people that same grace as well, the grace of forgiveness that God gave you. So, and then too, just with forgiving, it's like you have to know that everybody is experiencing this journey. So some people may not know how to interact the same way you do, or quote unquote be real how you real, or whatever the case might be. You know, you can't expect yourself from other people. People came up different, people was raised different, people was around different environments. You have to look, maybe this person wasn't taught how I was taught, so they don't know the knowledge of certain things, you know. And you have to show grace in that, and you have to show forgiveness in that, you know. You have to learn how to be at peace when you're forgiving others and yourself, so you can be able to know how to regulate your own nervous system and regulate your own emotions. And that's when autonomy comes in, is governing your own emotional mental state without outside forces and things that's out of your control. Even if a disaster happens or whatever, you still know how to regulate your own self when you are centered. And it's a couple of things to kind of help you get you centered. Well, for me, like, I'll do yoga, I'll journal, I'll meditate, you know, staying in my solitude, even having the conversations, replaying the conversations for myself to see, okay, I could have responded better or reacted better. And if replaying the conversation or replaying the situation hurts, process each of those emotions, whether you're angry, mad, sad, you know, feeling betrayed or whatever the case might be. Process those emotions and learn how to make peace with it. Even if you can't even go to a person face to face to get closure or tell a person how you feel, you can create that conversation within yourself. Replay that conversation and you be that third party to give yourself that own forgiveness. For example, let's give an example. Having a conversation of you told somebody to go buy you a certain type of ice cream, right? And this person know the ice cream that you want because you told them like 11 times, right? And this person comes back with the wrong ice cream. You gonna feel like betrayed because it's like you knew what type of ice cream that I wanted. You wasted my money. So you kind of feel some type of way, right? You're not happy because you didn't get what you wanted, even though you expressed what you wanted. And you can feel a way about that. Those are different emotions can come up in, you know, I know usually for me sometimes, and I just use this small example, but I know, for example, if it was a big situation, I know for me, I'm just like, cut them off with their head. Like, that's how I used to be. And it's just like, no, because sometimes without you even knowing it subconsciously, you can harbor resentment and harbor revenge and be vengeful. And to be honest, that's a tiring energy. Like, that's a low vibration energy. And it's like, with you not forgiving that person, it honestly drains you more than it drains that person or situation or whatever, because you are holding on to that emotional baggage, and it has you trapped, you know? So the next time you see the person or whatever, you got energy pent up, and it's like, that doesn't feel good, you know? You don't want to be, you want to be free. I know, well, at least for me, I want to be free flowing. I don't want to be tense about a situation. Like, I want to let it go, you know, like, it's just too much to hold on to. And it allows you to block emotional capacity that, you know, if someone else comes in your life, you so hung up on the last situation to where you're not freely giving to the next person or whatever the situation might be, you know? But that doesn't take away from you being discerning of not being a fool too, right? But just letting go of emotional baggage that you have from certain situations. Because if you hold on to those emotional baggage, you're not allowing yourself to be free. It's like you have a bottled up emotions of stuckness, really. Lean into God. Lean into Jesus to help you forgive and help you to get all that clutter out your heart, you know? Because autonomy is about your own story. How do you want to paint your story? What does your story look like? How do you want to feel in your story? You know, this life is your story. You are the author, so you have to take control of that. And anybody that has a page in your book, they need to be in the same alignment as you, meaning respecting your boundaries. Don't allow people projections to make you feel like you have to prove a point that whatever projection that they're placing on you that is not true. Like, let people think what they want to think, you know? So it's like, because if you worried about how a person see me, or, you know, I'm trying to prove to this person that I'm not what they think or whatever, that's too much energy work. Like, that is too much energy work to try to overextend yourself for people. Like, I've learned the best thing is to keep my energy to myself and keep my energy to the people that pours back into me. People are projecting. That's kind of like, it shows who they are in a way. It shows their insecurity. It shows their perception of life, because people only act and speak and view things at the level that they're at, you know? So if I'm at a level of, you know, abundance and joy and happiness, that's what you're going to see radiate from me. That's what's going to come out my mouth, positivity, like not complaining, not low vibrational energy, because I'm not viewing the world that way. I'm viewing the world beautiful, abundant. I can have all of these things, you know? So I think that's a big part of it too, with having your own autonomy, is that you have to have a perspective of how you feel about yourself, how you feel about your environment, and how you feel about where you want to go. And that creates the goal of creating your own story, because you are orchestrating how you want to see things in a certain perspective for you, right? And also too, when you forgive people, it don't have to be, you don't have to still deal with that person if you don't want to. I look at it as nothing more, nothing less, you know? Give them enough that I can give, and give them less of what I can't, right? So I'm only operating out of my capacity, you know, because I don't want to overextend or people please to where I'm draining myself out. We're not going to do that, right? With working on forgiveness, you have to identify the root cause of it, of why this situation made you feel that way. And you work on that, because you look at the emotional wheel, it's so many emotions that's connected to I'm sad. It can be I'm lonely. It can be, so I definitely want you guys to do that. Look up the emotional wheel, because it's so much more emotions behind one emotion, and finding the root cause of that can help trickle the snowball effect of healing all emotional traumas or healing all emotional triggers, right? You also have to learn how to live for you. Like, as I grew older, I'm starting to realize that I only can live for me. Like, I can't live for, and that just goes back to people pleasing. Like, I feel like I haven't been living for me in a long time. So now it's like I'm living for me on what I want for my life and what I want for my goals and my future family. Not the family that I have now. What do I want to establish? Just even small things to create of what I want for my future kids or whatever the case might be. It could be different traditions that I've came up with that I want to start with my own family. So it's like kind of finding your autonomy, and like I said, the picture that you want to see for the rest of your life for you, you know. And you know, when you go to different stages and when you meet certain people, you know, and you go through different experience, things are going to change. But keeping a baseline for your own autonomy. I know forgiveness can hurt, is because you expecting that person to love you unconditionally, and sometimes that may not be the case, you know. So I think forgiveness is a really big thing that we all have to work on as a collective, because if we don't forgive ourselves and others, it's like we're all walking around with this wounded warrior type of energy, and it's like we're never going to treat someone how we want to treat them wholeheartedly, because we still stuck and stagnant on that old emotion. Right now, this stage in my life, I'm thinking everything long term, like happiness, financial freedom, building legacy. Like any choices that I make now, it has to set me up for my long-term goals. Well, especially now that I'm in my 30s, I need to be thinking everything long-term. Every decision needs to be long-term, that aligns with my purpose and my goals that I want to see for the rest of my life. Like I said, that baseline of autonomy, of my own control, my own writing the story for me, as me being the author, living for me, right? So I think that's very important, because if you are not teaching yourself how to love on you and create the sacred space for you and yourself, you'll never be able to know how to create that space with other people or have real connection with other people, because you don't have a real connection with yourself. And then also you need to have a connection with God, because that's the ultimate source. You need to have a connection with God and Jesus and the Divine Mother. I just had a breakthrough. Well, I would say it was a breakthrough, a revelation. Just that I had the family that I needed all along. Jesus, my teacher. Father God, my father. You know, the Holy Spirit, Divine Mother, that I've looked in the lens of, that's what the Holy Spirit is for me. It's a comforter for me, the mother that I needed, you know. So I think having that divine connection really helps you walk peacefully, and it powers you and it gives you the strength to be able to forgive, right? Because you have all the strength from the divine that you need to move forward. As the world keeps turning, I strongly believe that it is time now to be prepared in every season, meaning getting all the squares out your circle. Like people that's not aligning, people that don't really love you for you, and you notice, and you still allowing this person access. It's like, no, it's time to like cut all your ties and losses, so you can truly be free from doubting, you know, yourself. Because ultimately, when you allowing people that you know that really doesn't have your best interest, keeps you in a low vibrational state, because you really study looking back. You study looking back and like, okay, they gonna snake me here, they gonna snake me there. You already know they a snake, so just, you know, remove them completely. Because I know for me, I used to have it bad to where I know this person really don't like me, but I'm gonna still have them as a befriend, because it boosts my ego to be like, oh, watch this, I'm about to turn up, I know they ain't gonna like that, you know. So I know they pretending, and it's just like, I don't have time for ego stuff no more. Like, I just want to be a peaceful woman. Like, I just want to be a peaceful woman. I don't have time to be in ego battles. It's draining. All of that stuff is draining. And when you think about it, none of that stuff really matters. None of that stuff really matters. You need to have an audience for one, and that is the Holy Trinity. That's the only person that you need to be performing for. And not even performing. That's the only person you need to be living for. You get what I'm saying? And it's like, I'm not living to stun on you. That's not my purpose. That's not your purpose. Like, God didn't, yes, your ego is important because you have to know who you are. But using your ego in a defense of, oh, I'm this, I'm that. It's like, God don't care about that, baby. Be the humble, meek, and serving your purpose for the people that need to hear and for the people that need to see. And do not cast your pearls to the swine, because I've learned that, and it's just like, that's draining, and you wasting that energy feeding that crocodile when you find other people that really actually take what you're saying valuable. And knowing that it's valuable, and they're using it, versus you feeding it to someone else, which they know is valuable, but they're not really taking it serious. So it's like leading the horse to water, and it's like, you know, you can't force them to drink to be better. So it's like, use your energy wisely and your discernment wisely on who you need to cast your pearls to and who it matters to the most. You know, this season is we getting all the squares out the circle this season. You hear me? We using our discernment. We loving on the people that love us. We are writing our own story. And we are living in freedom, doing our own thing, making ourselves happy, living in high vibrational states, leading with purpose, leading with a good heart. You know, too, what I've learned and realized, there are 3 things people come in your life for. People are here to either trigger your growth, reflect back to you who you are, or give you a leg up. So I feel like those are the 3 people that you would meet in your lifetime. And some might be here for a season, and some might be here in a lifetime. Me personally, I want the people in my life that's here to be a reflection of me in a good way as possible, and also giving me the leg up. Triggering my growth, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I'm not going to say that's like a negative thing, because it propels you to move forward. But I would rather see a person that I'm having the reflection mirror with and the leg up person to help me propel forward. I don't want to go through lessons to prepare me forward, if that makes sense. And then just like when I was just speaking on earlier, just with forgiveness with family, you have to forgive too, especially if you want a reconciliation with that person. You can't fake pretend with them. Just like, okay, you're in a relationship, you know you want to be with this person hurt you, whatever, and you have to forgive that old chapter that person hurt you in. You both have to forgive yourself, forgive the person, and that you and that person have to be in agreement on both forgiving each other, so you guys can move forward in a healthy way, in a healthy chapter, in a new chapter, right? Because if you don't wholeheartedly forgive that person, you're never going to have a healthy reconciliation, because you're still going to be subconsciously expecting someone to drop the other shoe. And like I said, I ain't got time to live like that. Like, if I'm going to forgive you and I want to reconcile with you, I have to let go of that old chapter and begin a new chapter with you. I can't say I'm forgiving you, still stuck in the old chapter and trying to have 1 foot in a new chapter. No, you being double-minded. Like, that's not realistic. You want to move forward knowing what your actual target and goal is. You don't want to be studied jumping back and forth, because you confusing yourself at this point. You know, you have to be solidified on what you want, because that's the only way that it's going to manifest what you want. You get what I mean? Thank you guys so much for watching. Before we wrap it up, you know, the inspired makeup look today is by Gigi. I'm going to tag her below and tag the products as well. And then the scripture that we have for today is Deuteronomy chapter 31 verse 6. It says, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them. For the Lord your God goes with you, and he will never leave you nor forsake you." I love that. That goes perfectly well with our autonomy. Knowing that God is always by our side and we're not by ourselves, but we're writing the story with him. So I love that. And thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like the video to push it out in the algorithm, and then comment any gems or anything that stuck out to you or anything that you learned. Let me know. And yeah, and share it to someone as well if you think that they might benefit from it. But yes, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and see you next time. Mwah. Love, love, love. You can do what you wanna live how you wanna speak, what you wanna be who you wanna be.